Meanwhile, Kamal Hassan's defense of Jallikattu has clearly triggered a massive man who played an instrumental role in banning the sport has spoken out. Speaking to TV Today Network's managing editor Rahul Kaval, Congress's senior leader Jairam Ramesh has said that the Supreme Court really holds the final say in the matter. Listen in.
If you don't like Jallikattu, don't have biryani. These comments by actor Kamal Hassan going viral, and joining us now, one of the big advocates, proponents behind the ban on Jallikattu, Jairam Ramesh, senior Congress leader at the India Today conclave where you are just now, and speaking at exactly the same place a short while before you came in. Kamal Hassan told me that if you don't like Jallikattu, don't have biryani. Now, you've been one of the movers responsible for this ban. How do you react to one of the legendary Indian actors saying something like this?
Well, I respect his views, but the fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court has pronounced its verdict on this issue. It has both supporters and it has also opponents. So whatever has to be said should be said in the form of a review, asking the Supreme Court to review its verdict.
But Kamal Hassan, in the comments he made to us, is linking this with Tamil culture, tradition.
All these arguments should be made to the Supreme Court and ask for a review. I think once the court has given its decision, the Supreme Court is the final say, is the final authority. People went to the court. The Supreme Court didn't give a sumo to statement. I mean, they went to the court, there was a petition. The Supreme Court heard everybody, and the Supreme Court said we should not remove the ban on Jallikattu. But now I understand that there may be people who are upset with the Supreme Court, so they should go back to the Supreme Court.
But Kamal Hassan's comments come at a time when the government is planning an ordinance to allow Jallikattu to take place again. Now, the BJP government, we've seen the previous environment minister speak very strongly in favor of Jallikattu. They say the Tamil sentiment is in support of Jallikattu.
Well, I don't know what the government is going to do, but whatever the government does, it would clearly be in contempt of the Supreme Court order. So if the government wants to challenge the Supreme Court, it's for the government to do.
But how do you respond to the moot question about whether Jallikattu is barbaric? Is it a blood sport? Do you think this is tradition which should be continued?
I don't want to get into all this.
Why
but
not?
This was, it has a long history.
Why are you hedging now?
A long history, because whatever is done, and the Supreme Court upheld the ban. So people who are upset, people who are unhappy, they have every right to be upset and unhappy, should go back to the Supreme Court.
No, but you support the ban on Jallikattu.
They should go back to the Supreme Court and ask for a review of what the Supreme Court has said.
But Mr. Ramesh, I don't understand. You're in Chennai, is that why you're now taking a different line from what you say in Delhi?
People who are in this know how the ban came about.
And you,
as far as I'm concerned, the Supreme Court has pronounced its verdict, and it's for the people who are unhappy with the Supreme Court verdict to go back to the Supreme Court.
No, but what about the fact that at the Marina yesterday there was a big rally, lots of people came out in support of Jallikattu?
I'm sure that there are people aggrieved by this. Mr. Kamal Hassan himself seems to have given expression to his unhappiness. All I can say is go back to the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court to review its decision. If it's in its wisdom, the Supreme Court says, no, we were wrong, we should allow it, we'll respect that.
But you believe still, because I want you to get very clear on this, that the ban on Jallikattu must stay.
I believe in upholding the sanctity of what the judiciary has said. And I'm a law-abiding citizen, and the Supreme Court has said something. It's our duty to respect what the Supreme Court has said.
You're also a wordsmith, and people will make what they will of your comments. Thank you.
No, I'm not a wordsmith. I am a law-abiding citizen.
Okay. We're going to leave it there, Jairam Ramesh. Thank you so much for joining.
Alright, over the last half hour, we've been debating this very issue. We've got Ambika Shukla, an animal rights activist with us, C. Rajshekharan, a lawyer, as well as an AIADMK supporter, and also Mr. Balkumar Somo, who's a Jallikattu organizer. But before I go across to my guests, I want to get a quick word from Akshay Nath, who's joining us live from Chennai. Akshay, this has been a contentious issue for many years now, but many people across the country don't really understand why there's such support for this kind of a sport, for what they deem a brutal sport. Explain to us the sentiment really behind Jallikattu.
Well, Akshita, it's a cultural value that is associated with Jallikattu. Every Pongal, this is something that is being done by the youth of, certain parts in Tamil Nadu, where it is seen as a whaler sport, a sport where they can show their courage and their bravery. And right now, what has happened is with animal activists coming out saying that the lot of cruelty towards animal that is being done there. After that, the verdict has come from the Supreme Court after a long interval of time where they have been monitoring continuously. The Supreme Court decided that Jallikattu should not be hosted because, in general, bull is supposed to be a very calm animal which does not run or, jump around from the Vadi Vasil like it is seen until and unless it is provoked, is what the Supreme Court had found out. So the entire reading says that the animal is being brutally, there's a lot of cruelty that goes on, and hence the sport should not go on at all. But there are a lot of enthusiasts who see it as a courageous pose. As Kamal Hassan was saying, the other word for it describes it as, hugging the animal or embracing the bull. So that is one thing that many people see. And, the enthusiasts say that they see the bull as something, a part of their family and not someone whom they can hurt. So what they are trying to say is we are not hurting the animal in the process of Jallikattu. What we're really doing is only showing our valor while trying to stop the bull from running away. But, the animal activist questions are like, 10 to 15 people pouncing on one animal, is it something that you need to really show your valor for? But Akshita, this is something that's been widely debated about. There are pros and cons for it, and enthusiasts have certain points that they want to say because of cultural values. But at the same time, there's also political angle to it. All the political parties are trying to win these stronghold votes by supporting Jallikattu.
That's right, and that's something that we witness, Akshay, which is that cutting across political lines, almost every politician in Tamil Nadu has backed Jallikattu. Ms. Shukla, a quick word from you here. You log in online anytime now because we see that Jallikattu has now become a massive online war as well. There are petitions online. There are several people who have come out to openly back Jallikattu, saying that the people here, whether it's animal rights activists or NGOs, nobody seems to understand the real meaning behind this sport, and that really is their bone of contention. And many of them agree with what Mr. Kamal Hassan said, that why really do we come out and slam Jallikattu when you allow animal slaughter?
Just as I mentioned earlier, there is a law that bans cruelty to animals for sport, for fun, or for these kind of activities. So when there is a law in place, the petition that went to the Supreme Court pointed this out, that there is a discrepancy between the law and the practice. And the Supreme Court reviewed this long and hard and decided that on the basis of the existing law of the land, Jallikattu could not be continued because it is violative of the laws that exist in India. Secondly, for anybody to say that Jallikattu, that these visuals are from pre-monitoring days is telling lies, because here I will show you. Here you will see a policeman standing, but still the bull is crashing into the crowd because he cannot, he's panicked. Here is the shot.
And
here
do we have dates on these images, Ms. Shukla, so that we can break it down for the likes of Mr. Rajshekharan?
Here is another shot. Here is another shot. Here is, here. Let me show it to you. Here is a tractor full of policemen. Okay, here is a tractor full of policemen. The bull is crashing into the tractor. Not one of the policemen can do anything. The bull is injuring himself by crashing into this tractor. Okay, so here is it. You can see all these policemen sitting over here. So this is post monitoring days. This is not pre 2011.
Okay. So this barbarity continues, is what you have to say. Let's get a word from Mr. Somu, who is a Jallikattu organizer. Mr. Somu, last time around when you were making a point, we didn't manage to quite connect with you there. My question to you is simple. While many of you claim that we are okay with a certain level of monitoring, how is it possible to monitor activities where Jallikattu is such a widespread sport? Almost every part of rural Tamil Nadu celebrates Mattu Pongal and plays this particular sport. How is it possible to monitor every single one of these?
Yeah, before you go into the question of monitoring, first let me clarify that post 2009 none of this has happened. First of all, and what Ambika is belting out is all lies. Okay, in 2009, Tamil Nadu government brought in the Tamil Nadu Jallikattu Regulation
But
Act.
how can you guarantee that, Mr. Somu? How can you guarantee that? We can't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We can't monitor every single part where this sport is played. It's such a widespread sport. It's so popular among every part of Tamil Nadu. How do you monitor where everywhere it's happening?
Accidents happen everywhere. People die during cricket matches. Horses die of heart attack. Did you ban horse racing? Do these people talk about that? They talk about this because it is a poor man's sport. They took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court did not have a separate committee. AWBI, which went to court against the sport.
But the Supreme Court has banned it, Mr. Somu. The Supreme Court has taken a very strong stand on this issue. It's not minced its words in any way when it comes to Jallikattu.
Yeah, Supreme Court can always say overturn it. Several times it has been banned and then overturned. So does that mean when it overturned everything was all right, or everything was wrong when it was banned? Nothing of that sort. Okay, all that these animal rights activists are doing is spoil the culture, tradition, and the nativity. See, do these people, say Ambika and all these people, have they saved a single bull so far? These bulls are going for slaughter. They are our village stud bulls. You are removing the stud bulls from the village. And what are you trying to achieve here?
No, these are points that I also made earlier, Mr. Somu, which is that the argument that many people have put forward is that, number one, these bulls are reared specifically for Jallikattu and will grow extinct if we ban the sport. Number two, of course, is that it's a decades-long, centuries-long tradition, culture that's really part of the celebrations of Mattu Pongal. But at what cost, Mr. Somu? I'm not just talking about the barbarities that are put upon these animals, these innocent creatures, which are just not violent by nature, but also about the kind of deaths that we witness of people who are engaged in the sport.
We should not be vilifying the sport. First of all, let Ambika and other people, did they come and visit in person? Tell me. Nothing. Even the clippings that you are playing are before 2009. After 2009, not a single, nobody can touch the tail of the animal.
They may have the rule, Mr. Somu, but again I'm telling you, nobody has that resource to monitor every single part of Tamil Nadu where the sport is played.
See, this is not an excuse we can accept.
It's not. See, so at the same time, I can put that same argument to you, Mr. Somu. It's not an argument through which we can go forward saying monitoring will happen. Wherever it happens, it's a one-off incident.
Sorry?
Mr. Somu, we can't put forth the argument that we will have monitoring and wherever else we see violence, it's a one-off incident. How can we allow one-off incidents to happen?
What kind of one-off incidents are you talking about?
Of violence against animals, of people dying, of this sport becoming absolutely brutal.
A plane disappears. Did you even locate the plane today? Tell me, did you ban flying? Did you ban Malaysian Airlines? Road accidents happen everywhere. Road accidents happen everywhere.
Are you saying this is an accident? It's so intentional, Mr. Somu. How is this an accident? How can you compare something like this to an accident? There's a law in place that bans cruelty against animals. So how can we allow it in the name of culture and tradition?
Yeah, first of all, understand there is no cruelty in Jallikattu. And please stop calling it as a barbaric sport. There is absolutely no cruelty in the sport after 2009. We guarantee that. There are hundreds of district collector reports there for you to see. How can a report by a foreign funded NGO like PETA be taken into account, a 20-page report against hundreds of reports by district collectors? Do you think these government officers were lying to the court?
Okay, Mr. Somu, let's get in a word from Mr. Rajshekharan as well. Mr. Rajshekharan, when the Supreme Court has come out and said, that this is a sport that's brutal, when the Supreme Court has come out and said that this is a sport that must be banned because it's against the rights of animals, that innocent animals are being pushed towards violence, are forced to protect and defend themselves, how can we even argue post that? How can we say that post 2009 there's been no violence when the Supreme Court itself has observed that this is barbaric and brutal?
It is not barbaric. Please stop using the
See,
word.
The Honorable Supreme Court has always reflected the sentiments and the emotions and also the law of the land. They have also passed orders and judgments in the interest of this country and not on any individual. Example, the BCCI recent judgment will speak volumes what the Honorable Supreme Court feels about the game of cricket. Likewise, this Honorable Supreme Court will definitely look into the Jallikattu sport, as it is being celebrated by crores and crores of people in Tamil Nadu, and everybody welcome it, and they also understand that it is not a game which is played for fun. Each and every proud owner of a bull, he really loves the bull. He just feeds it, grows it over a period of time for so many years, and tames it and trains it, only to establish that he has got love and affection towards his bull. This is the feeling of each and every Tamilian who owns a bull.
I agree, Mr. Rajshekharan. I agree. Again, I've told you that Mattipongal, I understand the sentiment behind it, and I do know that before Jallikattu, there are prayers that are conducted. The bull is fed certain, special food. All of that is done. The bull is bathed. It's reared very well. It's very healthy. All of that is agreed. But the question is whether, these kind of incidents, whether violence still spreads because of this. And I'm not just talking about cruelty to animals, but about the people also engaged. We've had incidents where deaths have been reported because of this. I'm going to get in a quick word from Ms. Shukla. Ms. Ambika Shukla, there's a large public perception, especially in Tamil Nadu, the sentiment is very, very high over this issue. And every time when we come towards this Pongal festival, there are massive campaigns online, on the ground. We saw the kind of protests that took place yesterday, where lakhs of people had come together on the streets of Chennai. Is the answer then to ensure that we, reach some sort of a middle ground between culture and also ensuring that there's no cruelty on the ground, to ensure that we have some sort of proper monitoring mechanism to carry out the sport?
You cannot carry out you cannot monitor a stampede. I would like to show you a picture. This is the picture of the policeman sitting here, right? The man who organizes Jallikattu just now said that pulling a bull's tail is illegal. The same people you will see in this picture here. Here is a picture of them pulling the bull's tail.
Do we have dates on that, Ms. Shukla? Do we have dates on exactly when those pictures were taken?
This is the policeman sitting here.
But do we have?
Can you see? Can you just see them? Can you just see them? These are post the monitoring, yeah. These are post the monitoring committee. You will see the policemen sitting here. These are on court's orders that the police will be monitoring it. You can see the policemen in this photograph. They're sitting on the tractor.
So essentially, this is where it comes down to, it's animal rights activists versus several people of Tamil Nadu who believe that the sport is not cruel, and many, of course, saying that post 2009 there are regulations in place that are being followed by the people. At the end of the day, it's about worshipping the animals, so there's no question of disrespect, is what the people of Tamil Nadu have to say. To all our guests, thank you for joining us on this broadcast. Kamal Hassan's comment, no doubt, has triggered a massive war. This is a view many people in Tamil Nadu have, that, Jallikattu is a sport about bull hugging. It's not bull taming, and also raising up the issue of animal slaughter, saying it's rather unfair to be targeting a sport that is so greatly loved, that's engraved in our culture and our tradition. This is a debate that will go on and on, but as of now, the ball is in the Supreme Court, which has maintained that this sport will be banned. Paneerselvam has written to the Prime Minister. We'll track those developments closely, but for now, it's a wrap on this edition of the Bulletin. Thanks for watching. News and updates will continue on India Today.